Alright, so hello everyone, welcome to the very boring setting everything up stream that we have to do at the start of every model rig. Alright, so I'm going to cheat a little bit, and because I know that while I can't open two things side by side and look at them within the same Live2D editor, I'm actually going to open up a second instance here. Because very conveniently, I can cheat a little bit and get all of the information I need from my previous model, which is very good. For anyone interested in fancy Live2D motion, today is not that day. Today is the day where we set everything up to make sure nothing breaks later. Or at least that everything's been set up in a logical way that we can make sense of it later. Oh boy, there's so many freaking parts. How many groups of hair do I have here? And do I separate that more? Two. Be bouncing like a spring, and also in and out sway, I guess. I'm totally gonna not know what these are by the time I'm actually working on these. Alright, how many groups of physics do I need for the back here? Probably about two. Should I separate this a bit more? It's not just one gigantic folder. Also feels a little redundant to do that. Alright, oh my. Yeah, this is going to be a pain in the butt to look at inside the physics editor at all. Whoa, 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 don't drag anything. I need more than three. One. Just to look fine if the physics is a little aggressive. Yeah. One. Is that pretty much everything for just the hair? That's great. Start setting up the meshes. Well done, you categorize everything to the formers first. I need to set the meshes first. Alright, let's have a look at how this is gonna work. Oh, not bad at all. Oh boy. To really thicken that mesh up. Hum. That should work. Alright, what's gonna happen down here? Let's have a look at this. Oh, it needs to not collapse on itself, so let's do that. Oh boy, I made this way thicker than I thought I was going to. Hum, 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 hum. Hum. How much is this piece gonna have to curve? Quite a bit. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. Yeah, this piece is totally not the most important. This is literally just to hold the underneath part. How much do I care about it? It's definitely not an important piece, so I think what we're gonna do is actually just make a connection down the shaded part, just to kind of protect that area. And that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. As long as there's no weird connections happening anywhere else. Maybe that's a little dodgy, but that's really about it. Hum, 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 hum. Hello. That's kind of how it goes, right? Oh, you want to distract me of anything? I'm cool with that too. But I'm not really saying anything, especially because I don't really have anything good to say about what I'm doing right now. So, hey, If you have some fun topics, that'd be welcome. If you just want to hang out and chill, that's also very welcome. This is very much a very the best I guess I could put as a almost robotic tasks that kind of have to do with the stuff I'm doing. What did I do here? Do hum. Yeah, fine. Hum. Oh, good. What I'm doing is literally just very manual, repetitive work, so don't worry about distracting me too much. There's a limit to what kind of mistakes I can make even while doing this, which really kind of explains how much of a manual task this is. Well, yeah, being interested in what I'm actually doing, I can't explain it as I go. If it was just like the logic of why some things are happening. I guess the only thing I can say is that I'm not a counselor of any kind, so if it's one of those kind of stories, the most I would say is good luck, and then just leave you to it. If there's anything else that's mildly interesting, I will very much entertain you. This model that I'm working on in particular, how long have I been working on it? It was one of those ones that I think I actually threw this one together pretty quickly. I think the art process overall, probably say, from concept to completed artwork was probably about 30 hours of work, I'd say. The whole thing was actually thrown together pretty quickly because I had a relatively good image of what I wanted to do. This isn't a commission for someone else, so it was something I could just consolidate with just myself, so naturally, if it was essentially group effort with a second person's opinion required, it would take a bit longer, but say probably took about 30 hours to draw this whole model. Draw in color. It was one of the because I've been trying to go through and clean up all of my started but not finished projects that I have just lying around. So it is a bit of a rough estimate because this was something I came back to. The last time I came back to it, was the line art was primarily done, and I was kind of working on and off on it quite a bit in my free time. So it is very much a rough estimate of how long it probably took. I mean, there's a couple of stream sessions of it, but otherwise, it should be about 30 hours or so for the full process. This model you see on screen that I'm working on right now, this... let me just make sure my YouTube feed is also caught up so I know what I'm looking at. The one you see on screen right now is just something I made on a whim. Originally it was the concept was to practice this kind of body build. You can't really see it with the coat on. Let me just take that off. Basically I guess what you call a bustier model, a bustier body type, curvier, more curvature on a shorter stature. That's the best way to describe it. So it's like a big bust, a more pronounced hip. That was the main idea of the practice. And also, since I don't have enough commissions coming through, if it comes down to it, I can put this on the market and sell it. So that's also an option. That's a pre-made, fully functional model. Unfortunately, it won't be set up for VBridger because I don't have an iPhone, so it'll be a little difficult to work with since I can't test the functionalities of VBridger while I'm working on it. But regardless, mostly a practice piece and another portfolio piece. Also, my art style has been slowly evolving. I will admit, most of the work here was more for the art portion than the rig portion of the model. Ideally, I would like to move more towards the art portion, even though I know that there's technically more people in that field than in the rig side, or at least people who do rigs at a higher level. I'll say, like, at this point I am somewhat confident to say that my rigs, like, my brand of Live2D rigging comes in the intermediate middle range between high end and low end. I've been doing this long enough and looking at other people's work enough to have a little confidence to say that. So depending on how much work needs to go into it, right? So character design, okay, so first off, let's preface this by saying that when I take a commission, I do charge a little more so that the it basically covers the cost of constant communications and revisions, because I essentially go through and say revisions are free. They're basically covered in the initial costs. So, you know, the general expectation is that revisions, or like the first revision, won't be the final. So that is a bit of a cheap way of getting some extra bucks in there, admittedly. So usually I think I put about a price of, depending on what it is, for emotes I'd say it will be about like $5, but for a model I'd say probably about $50. Even on a lower end model I'd say would go to, or would come from the cost of communications and revisions. If the process is longer, so say I'm doing both the art and the rig, I might go upwards of like 70 on just on that front. In terms of the model art, depending on how complex it has to be, I put a starting price of 200, which is actually very low. If I was to take this model as an example, where there's a good number of hair pieces, all the eye pieces are separated for heavy eye physics. The fingers and the hands, legs are all separated for joint movement. I'll probably put the final price sitting, just for the art, around probably 600 US. And that's already a relatively fair price, I'd say. Remembering that's including the all of the revisions that have to go and communication costs that go through as well. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. I pressed that button too early. As for the rig, what I'm planning for this rig will probably land it probably into the 500 to 600 range as well. I'll say that'll be a relatively fair price. Once again, that's taking into account the cost for revisions and all that good stuff. Let's get that out there, put that in, and then do that. Just make sure it's still attached. I mean, for the art side, that would just be the cost of doing the Live2D model itself. If you're asking me for character design, I really would just like probably slap a 50 or so. I'm not too familiar with character design because I haven't done very detailed character design with someone before. So the full process I'm not familiar with, and if I had to give an estimate, probably I'll just slap 50 on it for the first try. And probably about 10 to 20 of that's going to like a lot of revisions, the cost for revisions and communication. I mean, if it's a more complex design that needs more considerations for how parts have to go, especially if it's expected to go into a Live2D model, would be like probably a bit more expensive because they had to work out the nuances of the parts. Maybe. I'll admit, I don't keep track too well of what the people who pass through here, apart from the people who show up a lot. That's just kind of streamer things, right? It's kind of hard to remember everyone unless they're literally always there. I haven't had a commission in a long time, so if you've been in my stream before, then all of the stuff I've been doing has been personal projects. Apart from like quite... Oh, actually, how long ago was it that I did those emotes? Let me just check it on the date. That doesn't take too long for me to check. Where is it? Commissions, emotes, and view detail. When was this? Oh, this was in January. No. Yes, this was in January, so it's actually quite a long time ago now. That's like the last time I actually managed to get hold of a commission. It was just only for emotes. So it wasn't like the largest payout or job overall. And the person was actually pretty happy with it, like straight away. It was actually kind of surprising. Like, I was expecting to do more revisions of that. I mean, the Live2D market is like super saturated now. So it's not like it's that easy to get a hold of commissions. I mean, the most ideal would actually be able to slowly move this into a more corporate field, which will likely be in the game field, but oh yeah. Oh yeah, I think your name was actually pretty recent, can't think of it. Stream Elements doesn't keep as good track of all the people coming through subscription as it does with Twitch. Unfortunately, the names go off the list quite quickly. Have you showed up for all the art and Live2D stuff? I welcome you, because you're not part of the original 100-ish subscribers that came for Pokemon, which I don't do very much anymore. That was a wild time. I actually managed to grow to... I think I like doubled the size of my channel on just Pokemon Arceus at the time. That was crazy. I think I went from like 30 to about 90 actually. On just just Pokemon RCS shorts. That was a fun time. It's a shame that it's kind of hard to make good shorts videos out of just these kind of artwork and Live2D work streams. I have a clip that I need to pull out from I think 2 days ago, but I haven't really had the time to go through stream footage because that just takes a really long time. Well, more like the longer it is, the more of a pain it becomes to go through. You know, I don't really look at my subscriber numbers at all. There's not really any point in looking at them unless I'm getting close to the partner breakthrough number, which is 1,000, which is very far off. So I'm not worried about my subscriber numbers at all. I'm still at the stage where it's very much a hobby and I could just do what the heck I want for the most part. Pronouns, I don't care at all. My stance on it is that it's too much of a pain to remember 90% of the time, and if someone gets annoyed by what you call them, you ask them then, or they'll correct you and then you just continue from there. But I'm not bothered, but typically, well, my friends would just go with he, him, because if my voice isn't a general giveaway, I'm very much male. If the question is based on the appearance of the model I'm using, it's more because I used my own Live2D model as a walking advertisement of my art style. There's, unlike every other VTuber, well, 90% of other VTubers sitting around on the internet, there is no lore here, there's no character backstory here, it is a walking advertisement. There's nothing special about it. Quite literally, every time, well, I have sworn myself to not change my model again for a while, but up until the most recent change, which was only finalized a few days ago. Actually, how long has it been? Has it been a week yet? It hasn't even been a week yet, I think, that I switched to using this model, which is, at the very least, I have like a general design that I keep just to make sure my brand stuff can be consistent, even though I am in the process of changing all that stuff right now. But because I do both the art and the rig side, whenever I had something new I wanted to try at either the Live2D art or the Live2D rig or VTuber models, instead of thinking up a new character design, because I wasn't really too sure how to do character design at the time, I'll just make a new model for myself and just work with that. The model constantly changed for quite a while. It was quite a brilliant sight, mostly for my sanity. Why is my screen blinking? Okay, this is not the monitor that I nearly destroyed the display cable of. Let me just go around and let me just check nothing's unplugged itself. No, oh no, I'm just having flashes on screen. It doesn't look like it's coming up on my stream though, which is interesting. I am definitely not making enough to cover all the costs just doing commissions and streaming right now. I do commissions. My commission, or my card, my commission website is in the description, or it should be, at least the last I checked. Actually, you know what, I'm nervous now, let me just check that. It is in there, and it should be the correct one. Let me just actually check this, you know what. It is in the description, and it does go to the right site. Okay. Yeah, it's in the description if you're interested in looking at my commission stuff. If you need better examples than what's on the website, because some of it is a little old, just pop back around and yell at me. I can pull some up to put on screen. That will probably be more fitting because I admittedly don't update my commission website often enough. Also, all the prices on there are kind of more like guidelines, because admittedly, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I price on complexity and needs rather than just a flat price. And I guess that's like a word of warning to start off. If you do want to commission me for a piece, be prepared for a barrage of questions, because I will very much make sure that we're both on the same page on absolutely everything that needs to come through before starting anything. Just one VTuber model. I mean, it depends on how complex you need it to be, but I mean, I put my starting price for like a lower end model at 200. 200 a piece for the art and the rig. That's US dollars. If you're looking more for a rig that's closer to what I'm using right now, which includes a lot of extra motion, all the way from the top of the body down, probably sits closer to 600. Because literally everything I have on my model runs on physics. Not always the best idea sometimes, but it does make everything incredibly bouncy, and people like that. I mean, you're looking for a budget rig, and that's like very budget. Probably still go for like, probably, if you package both things together, around 200. Like a very basic piece of art and a very basic rig that won't include a lot of things that you see on most people's models. I mean, I do personally say that I am within the intermediate range or the middle range of quality. So I have enough self-respect to charge more than some of the lower end people, but I also won't charge you the crazy amounts that the higher end people go for, like the thousands. In all likelihood, the arch will probably cost more than a rig, because when it comes down to it, if you're looking to do content creation, the art piece will be your brand face, not the rig, and that's what I usually tell people on a budget. Oh, Slender Man. I remember Slender Man. I'm old. Of course I remember Slender Man. How long ago was Slender Man now? It's like 20 something years. Has it been 20 years for Slender Man? Was it? No. When was Slender Man? Was it pre-2010 or was it post? Regardless, if you want to communicate stuff for commissions, I don't know if it's in my, actually, it's in my commission page. Let me have a look at this. Let me just take a look. That is my Discord, right? Oh, I can't look at it right now because I have streamer mode on. Ideally, DM me on Discord, because I am actually responsive on Discord and I won't ignore you, because Twitter doesn't, Twitter very beautifully does not, alert you if, someone's messaging you for some reason. Don't know why it's like that. My Discord is via hashtag 1679. So you need to find me for any commission stuff. That will be the most responsive place. Honestly, you can message me on Twitter as well, but you'll have to also alert me that you've messaged me on Twitter, because 90% of the time when you have a message notification coming through, or message request coming through on Twitter, it's a scam. And also Twitter doesn't alert you for them, so I don't know how to look for the alerts over there. Oh, is this oh, this is the bottom of this. Okay, let me just make a separate set of skeleton for that. Just go like that. Okay, why did I do that? Should not have done that. Oh, it's probably because of this. Oh, whatever, just do that, and... That's not what I'm trying to do. Connect to here, please. Delete this line. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Slender Man. Little Nightmares... I'm more familiar with the main character, like your player character, Little Nightmares. I'll admit that I don't have an image in my head of what the Tuxedo Man and Little Nightmares looks like. I mean, if he's like a big villain, I'm sure I can Google it if it really comes down to it. But I definitely know what Slender Man looks like, so half the image is in my head. That's how much I can say. Half the image is definitely in my head right now. Oh, that's not the right tool. Let's put that back in. Hum. Let's go. Wait, is the Little Nightmares one a Thin Man? I really don't have an image of this. Hold on, I need to Google this. What was it, Little Nightmares? Thin Man. Let me just have a look at this. Oh, like this. Oh, wait, is he on the cover? Yeah, I don't have an image of this guy at all. Little Nightmares 2. Okay, that will explain more. I'm not familiar with Little Nightmares 2. I'm more familiar with 1. He can go through TV screens? Oh boy, that sounds like fun. It's also just looking at the two of them, like, do you want a face or do you not want a face? The Slender Man is essentially faceless. Can't really make out too much of a face on this. Oh, but yeah, I guess this dude has a face. Well, he's got more of a face. I mean, the only thing I will say at this point, just looking at the two things, like this dude and Slender Man, is that I have not drawn very much in like a horror style. So whether I should be the top pick for creating that is also a different matter. The most I can say is that I shall try. like I can do my best, but there's no guarantees, because admittedly this is outside my realm of expertise. Like my art style very much is the very, I would call it very standard anime style. That's what I'm best at. And I've been practicing a bright pastel colored art style recently, and that's very far from horror. Can this form a mesh correctly? Oh boy, that is a messed up mesh. Okay, get you out of here, you out of here. That's... I'll go with that. Alright, and now for a very thick mesh. How thick is this actually gonna have to be on some parts? Ooh, wait. Then we just pop out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I need points in the middle here? Don't know if I really want these here. I'll do it like this. Oh yeah. Well, it's more basic like that, then perhaps. I mean, if it's like a thin style like these people, it probably fits my style a little better because I'm not good at the bulky, the broader shouldered style of body. Admittedly. I mean, I think I've only really, at least recently, I've only done like one major male drawing. Actually, I could bring that up. Why don't let's just bring? Actually, do I have that anywhere? I haven't made a showcase video of that. Like, just give me a moment. I do have like a single male I've done recently. What the heck did I call it? What was it called? Was it this one? I think it was this one. That was not this one. Hold up. What the heck did I call it? I think it was this one. The male model. Ideally not through phone calls. If you have Discord, I prefer that. Namely because then it will also leave all of the messages behind. And I can keep track of that. Also, you know, well, not local, then it'll incur international costs, and that's stupid. Because I'll be very frank, I'm not in a financial position where I can really just throw money at international messaging. It's mostly for bookkeeping, if I'm being a little annoying about it. But just having everything in a messaging app helps a bit when it comes to keeping track of all the transactions, and especially so you have the all the transcripts. I mean, the main thing I am concerned about is to have one, that the messaging isn't is instant, so some kind of instant messaging, and also that all the messages are saved, just so that both parties are always aware of exactly what's happening. But, like, if I'm being like very meticulous about it, it is the fact that doing commissions is like essentially just a form of trust. And if anything goes wrong, everyone knows exactly what was communicated. I mean, having like another form of messaging that everything can be easily saved and tracked. I'm open to that. Ideally, not a phone number. Personally, for me, because this is all work on the internet, I'm not comfortable having my phone number being passed around to people. I mean, I know it's like a private thing, and generally, I will trust that people won't throw it around, but I personally am not comfortable just putting my phone number out to people that I'm not somewhat close with just on the internet. I mean, what other messaging things do I have? It's like just Twitter. And well, I guess I still technically have a Skype account because that's just attached to Microsoft. But Skype is also more personal. And as far as I know, you can't make, or you can't really make a business. Can you make a business account for Skype? I actually don't know. Oh, you are local. Hello there. But I am up in the North Island of New Zealand, so I use the good old Kiwi dollar. And that's as far as I'll say where I am. It's probably more noticeable for people who aren't Kiwi. Because I've been told that my accent is actually quite strong, so actually no, the last time someone said my accent was strong, they thought I was Scottish. Or some, oh no, they thought I was Swedish. That was really weird. But I still stand by, I don't want to just put my phone number out there for people on the internet. Oh, you know, when I'm streaming at this hour, that's the people we catch, right? We got the people living in Aussie and Down Under, and we got the people living in Kiwi land that doesn't exist on most people's maps. Does it actually say where I'm from? Hold up. I don't remember setting that, but Google might have set it for me. I'm actually kind of curious. Hold on, let me have a look at this. I don't remember setting this. Oh my god, it actually does say I'm in New Zealand. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't remember setting that. I think Google set that for me. Why do I feel like that's not actually a thing? Can you make that private? I don't feel like I see that very often. Not like I look at people's about pages very often. Oh yeah. Either way, I can tell you right now. I am not comfortable meeting people unless I'm relatively close to them, or I already knew them in real life. So, ideally, any kind of communications need to be made online if it's about commissions. I apologize that that's very inconvenient, but it is one, a security thing, and two, it's also a convenience thing when it comes to making sure all the transcripts are all in there. Oh, you are so young. Oh, you're so young. I'm surprised you know about Slender Man, actually. I think I was your age when Slender Man came out. Oh boy. Oh, actually, okay, now I need to know about this now. Hold on, wait, what? When was Slender Man released? Slender Man release date 2018. How old was I? Wait, no, this is the film. When did Slender Man, the original game, come out? (2012). I was a little younger than 17 when the first Slender Man came out. When Slender Man the 8 pages came out, I was 15. Oh my god. I think, wait, no, am I doing the math right? 7, 12. Yeah, I was 15 when Slender the 8 pages came out. You have to have gone digging for Slender Man, like, holy shit. Well, if you've, at least if you found it more recently. If it was back then I guess it was quite big. I mean, I'll admit, the only people I really were aware that were on the Slender Man train was, like, probably Markiplier and PewDiePie. If that says anything about my age, because they're still the primary YouTubers I watch. Oh yeah, that's another reason why I'd say not to meet up in real life. I'm 30. That is not a good look. You're not even 20, okay? Oh, it might be less of a bad look for you, but it's definitely a bad look for me. Meeting someone in real life on the internet who's over 10 years younger than me. Like, that is a bad look for me. Oh, way. I mean, that's like... I guess that's like mildly relevant to most of the horror stories you get, but it's still relevant to the fact that I am literally like over 10 years older than you. It's still not a good look, like, in general. I mean, this was a day and age where, honestly, even if you're like, what was it? If you had like some previous connection, like from school or something, it'll still be like kind of dodgy to be meeting someone when you like have that much of an age gap. As funny as I think cancel culture is, because I personally think cancel culture is ridiculous. You people are so young. Oh my god. Why are all you people so young? Actually, most of the people interested in the VTuber community are kind of young, so I kind of get that. I'm like one of the old bones within the community, and I'll consider myself someone who's on the edge of the outside looking in. I mean, one of the people who also do rigs that I talk to on a more regular, well, actually it's not that regular because I'm antisocial and I don't talk to people very often, but one of the people that I do actually talk to somewhat is 10 years younger than me, so, you know, when he told me, I was like, oh, he needs to go to university now. I'm like, oh my god, you're so young. So I've been out of university for like over 5 years. Yeah, internet security is something that I think we should all be careful with these days. Like, just be like mildly careful. Even if none of us here are gonna try and take advantage of it, because YouTube beautifully saves the whole chat replay. Someone can, if they randomly poke into this exact spot in the stream, can pick out some of your information. So be a little careful on that front. Does Twitch do that as well? You click into a VOD? I think it does, doesn't it? It does have the chat replay. So, like, be mildly careful. I mean, I've been on the internet for a long time, but I've been part of the internet since Trollface, and actually, what were the old memes that were really notable? It was like Trollface, and the first wave of memes of like Bad Luck Brian, and was it Socially Awkward Penguin? Now those were the days. That was the start of meme culture. Back in my day. Oh boy. This is what happens when you get an old man to start talking about the good old days. What is this piece? This is the lighter. Okay. Yeah, like, at most, like... I'll say these days, unless you're very confident in who you're talking to, at best, means if you're gonna tell them which country you live in, just tell them the country and that's as far as it goes. You don't tell them any cities. I mean, I can see why people would do that, but we also live in an age where some of the parents are getting sued for giving their kids stupid names. So anything can be a name these days. I mean, was it just, what, 2-3 years ago? People were getting a kick out of calling their kids Corona. So, you know. I mean, I will admit, before COVID actually happened and everyone became aware of the coronavirus as a type of virus that is pretty bad for the human race, I did think Corona was a cool name. Nowadays, socially, it's a little bit not accepted, but I do believe that it is somewhat of a cool sounding name. But you know, names are just names. You can call yourself what the heck you want when it comes down to it. Let's be real. Once you're of age, you can literally go to the government and just be like, hey man, I want to change my name to this crazy thing. And it's fine. Like, names aren't really that much of a major factor. Well, I guess it is like a major factor in your identity when it comes to legal documents, but when you're talking to people online, that's just the name they need to call you by and no one gives a shit. Well, no one should give a shit, really. Oh my god, that got through the censor. I'm pretty sure YouTube has like somewhat of a language censor, and that got through. Well, that, I mean, was that actually a... Was that ever a first name in any language? I mean, I'm presuming it was either... It was like what? A German name, right? But... I mean, I don't know, like, in terms of English names, but think about this. My favorite English name you can find in a book of names is Gaylord. Back in the day, when people didn't associate gay with homosexuality, gay was for happy, and you were the lord of being happy. It was a great name, and you cannot call your kid that name anymore, or you will get sued out of existence. All you were trying to say was that your kid was very good at being happy. Not anymore. Your kid is now just a slur. Also, I think the last instance of Gaylord being a name was in the 50s or something, so that was quite a long time ago. I mean, names are like a culture piece, right? Like, names go in and out of trends, and you'll just see like some general names like go completely out of existence. I mean, you're not gonna tell me that, like, you know, your school's teenage pregnant couple called their daughter Agatha. Agatha is a name from like, what, the 40s maybe? Like, your grandma might be called actually, will your grandma be called Agatha now for you young kids? I don't even know unless your grandparents were very old, or your parents were very old when they had you, I really doubt your grandparents will be called Agatha these days. Maybe your great-grandparents. I mean, if it's a geisha instead of Agatha, that's still like a little different, I think. I mean, I have to like consult a book of names to make any real judgments on any kind of names, because I haven't looked at a book of names in quite a while, because honestly there's no real need to. Your everyday life does not require looking at a book of names, so I have not consulted one in quite a while. I mean, it's like, was it? One of my friends, their kid's name is Phoenix. My cousin's kid... What's my cousin's kid's name? I think she was called... Was she... I think she was... Was it Melody? She was like the name of some Disney princess, because she really liked Disney. So she had like a Disney princess name for her English name. They're not... They live in an Asian country, so the English name is very much just afterthought that came up later. But she had a name of some Disney princess because she really liked Disney. Who else has a kid around me? I'm not nosy enough to know any of my friends' kids' names, honestly, because I don't really care. Until they're like of a decent age, I'm just going to call them like kid or brat or hey you. So, if that's a stink move from me, I apologize, but you know. I actually can't remember if it was Phoenix like that or Phoenix as in like just F-E-N-I-X. I actually don't know. And admittedly, I'm not interested either, so I'm not gonna ask. I've seen the name a couple of times written in text messages, but I just have not paid any attention. Because overall, it's not actually that important. I know that it's pronounced Phoenix, and that's all I need to know if I need to call out to him. You may very well note that from these general things is that I really live life at a very casual pace where I don't worry about a lot of things. I mean, I know, one of my... I mean, the, a lot of... Okay, because, I'm Asian, so... All my relatives that still live in Asia, their English names are a bit fancier, even in my generation, just purely based on the fact that it's a name usually they just picked up themselves, and it's pretty much sounds like a gamer tag, but I think one of my cousins was called Sunny. As in, like, son as an actual son, not like Mr. Was it Sonny Briscoe from Niji? I mean, I think they're older than me as well, so they would have had that name for quite a while. It's definitely not a recent thing. I don't know, I just feel like these days, parents are just trying to one-up each other on, like, how unique they can make the name. Actually, wasn't it a, I think it was a New Zealand court case where, some parents got sued for giving their kid, like, some 16-part name or something. I mean, that was quite... I think that was over, like... Was that over 10 years ago? That might have been over 10 years ago. So I'm not expecting anyone here to know about it. But I remember hearing about it, and it was really funny because it was like this really long, just passage of words that was on their birth certificate that the journalist managed to get a hold of and take a picture of. It was probably the funniest thing that I've ever seen on a newspaper, back when we actually read newspapers and not just looked at news online. You know, if you want to be a vampire, you just do, was it? Actually, weren't all vampires like Von something? Me? No, I'm single. Having a kid sounds like way too much trouble. Just listening to my friends who have kids sounds like it's way too much trouble. I haven't been in any like kind of proper serious relationship. Nor do I see myself in one anytime soon. I'm part of that generation where, frankly, one half of the reason why we don't have kids or partners because it's too fucking expensive. So, you know, the boomers screwed us. If all the we're getting paid more now, but do you realize how much more everything costs, you stupid boomers? That's my generation. It's great. We can't afford anything. So yeah, I'm single and I'm struggling to pay for things. So, you know, if you would like to commission me, that would be great. You'll be putting food on the table. I mean, one of my cousins has a kid. Oh, one of my cousins has 2 kids, and she's the only cousin on my dad's side that has kids. Cause the other 2 that are, one of the other 2 is married. The other one I think is engaged. I actually don't know if they're engaged or not. But neither of them have a kid yet. It's just like the one cousin with the 2 kids, and they were both accident. Actually, no, the first one was the accident. The other one wasn't. Collabs. I'm open to doing collabs. I just know that because, you know, 90% of the English-speaking world lives in America, and the remaining 9% live in Europe. I don't actively go looking for them. I did do collabs quite a while back, but it's been a long time. I mean, when I did the old Minecraft a little while ago, I was always alone because of time zones, because, you know, everyone was American and I was on there 90% of the time by myself. And when was the last time I did an actual collab? Let me have a look at my channel. What's New Zealand in right now? Like UTC plus, we're not in daylight saving, so I think it's plus 12, right? I know when we're like on, oh no, it is daylight saving, so it's 12, because daylight is plus 13, right? And if plus 13 sounds really crazy to you, we live at the edge of the world and Santa comes to us first. So, you know. Yeah, it's 10. It's 10 p.m. I mean, usually when I do a collab, or when I did do collabs in the past, it was with people in America and Canada primarily, and I'll wake up early for them. I actually don't know when the last time I did a collab was. It was a long time ago. I mean, I started doing some like right when I started the channel, because that's when everyone was first getting onto the Vtuber hype. And it was easy to get a hold of people. Nowadays everything's like so saturated, it's kind of hard to like find people that like click with you. I am introverted, but I will also say I am at a relatively high level of social, a relatively social person for introvert. Also, before anyone says that, you can't be an introvert and also be social at the same time. Being an introvert and being social is not the same thing. And if anyone wants a proper definition of that, I can actually give it, because I learned about it a few years back, and it's one of my favorite things to correct people on. Well, it's one of the funnest random pieces of information or random piece of trivia they could give someone about introverts and extroverts. And I just haven't really bothered looking for collabs, largely because of time zone. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt. When, you know, being down here, even, because in Australia, you're a little closer to the rest of Asia. But when you're the 2 hours across the pond from Australia, you're actually quite far ahead of Asia, which is really awkward. And in Europe is directly like 12 hours away from us. And then, well, I can sometimes catch some of the people from America at really weird hours because they have crazy sleep schedules. But if I need to wake up, like, I'll have to wake up for anything with Americans usually, unless they go a bit later. You do not find that many introverted kids unless they were not allowed to interact with kids at all in their early days. Because kids, for the most part, are fearless, which is ironic because the one of my friend's kids is incredibly cautious. Like he's scared. Apparently, he's scared of absolutely everything. But most kids would generally pretty happy to talk to people, I find. Or they're not afraid to talk to people. They might be afraid to try things, but they aren't afraid to talk to people. Because humans aren't the scary things in their lives, usually. I mean, because usually I call myself a social introvert. Because I'm pretty happy to go to, like, social activity or events. But it also tires me out very quickly because I'm an introvert and it stresses me out if I stay too long. So the way I told people, or the way I described myself to people when I was looking for a place to rent, was that I'm a social introvert. I'll come out and talk to you until I've had enough, and then I will disappear and please don't touch me. That was literally how I described myself to people. It's like, yeah, I will, like, if I want to talk to you, I will come out and talk to you. When I've had enough of you, I will disappear, and please do not touch me until I'm ready to come out and talk to you again. That's basically what it is like to be a social introvert. It's like, I have used up my social battery, I'm going to disappear now, thank you, bye. Do I need to separate that? Let me just actually turn these into single pieces so that the mesh or the deformer has an easier time with these things. Oh. It's less likely to have problems if I... Oh, that is a very big brush. Still like that. Hum. I mean, I definitely never had a problem talking. I mean, I wouldn't stream if I had a problem talking, so that's already kind of irrelevant, but I know there's like a lot of parts of my own psyche that I know for a fact some people find annoying because I'm not a conversation starter, but if you make me start talking, I won't shut up. As long as I can keep talking on the subject that you started me on. I don't know if it's very clear from the fact that I am still talking, even though I am at this point ranting very, very clearly. I very quickly approach the point where I'm ranting, just because I will keep talking until either my throat dies or someone tells me to shut up, or I actually run out of things to say. Because when I was working in the office, this was a different culture, just to note. This was in Hong Kong, before the China takeover, by the way. So we still had more expats. I was basically told to shut up a lot because someone would start talking to me, and then I'll just keep talking, and then they'll just be like, "Please shut up." I'll be like, "Okay." It's like, okay, I'll shut up now. Because apparently I was very distracting for the fact that I would just keep talking. Also, I was very loud. Because majority, well, there was also the local people, and then the rest of our workers were basically all from India, because I was in IT. So everyone's actually pretty quiet for the most part, and I was very loud because I came from a very Western culture. I mean, I think that's all good. Like, when it comes to a friend group, how you converse is just like, it's a dynamic that you work out within your friend group, and if everyone accepts it, it's perfectly fine. I mean, it's like, with some of my closer friends, I'm pretty happy to tell them to stop talking on some things or tell them to shut up if I'm genuinely uncomfortable or I think they're being stupid. And that's fine. Or like, back in the when I was doing a lot of group projects, if some people weren't contributing, it'll be like, yeah, hey man, like, talk, please. Like, just tell us what you're thinking. But I don't know, I always find conversing, especially within a friend group, is largely a group dynamic. There's no right way, and you'll just work it out within your group. And that is fine. You have the person who never shuts up, you're also the person who doesn't talk as much. I mean, within, like, my friend group, admittedly, I'm not the one who talks the most in my friend group. So I'm usually the one who is throwing in jabs at whatever they say. So if someone says something stupid, I'll throw a jab. And it'll slowly turn into a comedy routine for the other people who don't talk. But that is my friend, like my friend group dynamic in terms of conversing. I mean, also the fact that because I'm living in New Zealand and I think, at least in my current friend, like main friend group that I talk to a lot, we all pretty much grew up. Actually, no, I think the majority of us grew up in New Zealand. We all have the same accent, so we can all understand each other, and we all speak very fast, because that's like the Kiwi thing. Is that apparently we speak very fast. I was like that's never a problem, right? It's like, it's only a problem if like one of your friends actually thinks it's a problem, and then that will be a thing that your group has to work out on their own. It's never a bad thing. I mean, if someone wants to do all the talking, they can do all the talking. Like, that's never a bad thing. Oh, the mouth. Should I do the mouth now? I'll do the mouth later. I'll do the mouth now. Alright, so we'll just go like that. Okay, I want to try using this vector tool, because it's supposed to be good for things like this. Okay, it's definitely not thick enough. That's fine. I mean, Kiwi speaking fast is like more, but just like a more general populist thing. It doesn't like shush at individuals, because that's how you generalize for communities, right? Or cultures. You just take the bigger portion of it and describe it using the bigger portion. You don't really take into account the rest of it. I mean, I don't know how much being an introvert actually affects, like, if you speak quickly or not. I mean, I know it affects, like, how much you want to speak, but I don't know if it has a direct effect on your the speed at which you speak. I don't know if I have ADHD. I probably don't, but I've never had like a official diagnosis to find out if I do or not. I mean, a good number of my friends have ADHD, so I'm not exactly that unfamiliar with it. Hello, how you doing? Yeah. We're going on a good old ranting time, because it's time to do some rants. Let's go. Oh, not like that. Nope. Go back to this, please. Nope. Oh, jeez. Oh, please deselect everything. Oh, boy. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Click on upper lip right. Thank you. Okay. Copy, and then we go into here. We're going to do that, and then we're also going to paste this on. Actually, wait, no, I should probably delete all the stuff that don't need to go in that area. Let's go like that, so that we paste that in. Probably in about half an hour. I go for about 2 hours because I'm an old man and I can't handle long streams. So I usually do about 2 hours. Maybe on the weekend or on Saturday, because I don't do both weekend days, I'll go 3 hours if I'm really feeling it. But if I go for more than 2 hours, my body literally starts to break down and it hurts. You're all young. Well, some of you are young. So you may not realize this, but the human body is not as sturdy as you think. It is surprisingly not that sturdy. Especially as you get older, it really doesn't stay upright for that long. Oh boy. I won't really say too much on the topic for any of the medical things, but the most I can say on the medical stuff is that I'm not an expert, so the most I can say is pretty much if it's actually causing any problems, just make sure you actually have a expert to talk to. That's pretty much it. I try not to get too deep into that stuff. It really is. Oh boy. I mean, some of you who's been here around in the stream for a while might have heard me talk about how I used to actually, how I have tried to stream on Twitch before, because I bring that story up occasionally. Because of the way Twitch discovery works, you don't have any discovery, and you know, having to do long hours. It actually reached a point where I was actually having issues with daily life. So that's a thing. I'm not on the painkillers yet. I'm not that old. Oh, I like to think I'm not that old yet. But it was there was a time when I was on the Twitch stream that on the Twitch grind, the very unhealthy Twitch grind that they promote over there, that my body was quite literally falling apart, because if I did the full, like, you know, 4 to 6 hour-ish stream that, you know, people promote you should do on Twitch because of how discoverability only works there if you're live, my body quite literally fell apart. It was painful to stand at times, which was fun. If your body is healthy enough for you to stand up, you'll realize very quickly that not being able to stand up really freaking sucks. Let's see what else I need here. Do that. Yeah, that works. Let me just change out some of these. I mean, I don't think I've had to be on painkillers yet. Like, usually extended periods of rest will put me back into shape. And at the stage where extended periods of rest can still put me back into shape, generally that's outside of painkiller range. I mean, fortunately, I did take at least some care of my back as I was growing up. I mean, not as much as I should have, but at the very least, I can still stand straight. It's also the reason why I've got a standing disc. And so that I'm not leaning over the whole time when I'm doing streams, because I do a lot of art streams, and when I'm using the tablet, I lean over a lot. Much more than I should, anyway. And standing definitely helps alleviate that. If there's one thing I can actually recommend to people, it is a standing disc. Having a standing disc is absolutely great. I mean, it was a bit of a hit to the pocket to invest in it, but it is probably the best investment for an at-home thing that I can use all the time that I've ever made. Yeah, ergonomic chair is good, but you have to find a good one for ergonomic chair. And when you're looking for ergonomic chair, don't get a gaming chair that says it's got ergonomic features, because that is not an ergonomic chair. That is a gaming chair with some ergonomic features, but most of it's been stripped away for very expensive branding. Let's just go. I mean, I personally find the disc easier to work with because there's no, or it's like, it feels a bit lower risk overall as long as I can get to the right height. Because then me keeping my back straight is completely on me and not on my chair. So I don't have to worry about the chair not fitting my height as much as I think I'm about average. Because I'm about 170. I'm around 170, so I'm like not too tall and not too short in terms of finisher sizes, as I found. So usually I don't have a problem looking for a chair, but like if you're very tall or you're very short, sometimes finding a chair can be kind of difficult. I mean, that's also my concern with the disc at first as well. When I first looked for a standing disc, was actually it was going to be too short, because some of the discs on the descriptions that they have on the market page, they don't say that they go up very high, but my one goes up high enough. I think it goes up about 150-ish off the ground, and it puts it just under my chest level, and that's like literally a perfect height for me to stand straight and still use my tablet. I need these two pieces. These pieces don't need a very complex mesh. Let's just blow the mesh on these. These ones don't need exact mesh. I don't need exact mesh, but that still scares me. Let me just move that. Alright. Oh, also I can say, if you, like for those of you that asked about commissions today for Vtuber stuff, if you plan on doing like streaming or content creation of any kind, make sure you have an ergonomic setup, because RSI is a giant bitch. And I can definitely say that making sure that your body literally won't break from staying in the same position for 2 hours is very important if you want to do content creation. And 2 hours, well, 2 hours for streaming is pretty much a minimum, especially on YouTube, where your main viewer base shouldn't be streams anyway. I mean, you plan on going on Twitch. Having an ergonomic setup is basically more vital than your stream setup, honestly. Where the fuck's my line? Why is it so far across? What the crap is this? Let's just see if I can get this right down the middle. Shit. The 1250 right down the middle. Is this not my scene zero canvas? It is my scene zero canvas. Huh. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get through all of the missions today. I'll probably get the setup done over the weekend if I'm not gonna get through the whole thing. Or at least the mesh setup and the parameter setup, maybe not the former setup. Transformers I never really got into. I'm aware of some parts of it. I was never the robot kid. I was much more of the magic kid. So I preferred fantasy stuff in general over machines. Oh, Star Wars. Oh, I have a fun story for Star Wars. One of my friends, who's a pretty big fan, was so offended when I told him that I hadn't watched Star Wars. This was in university, by the way. So we're like all in our 20s. Because I was in a more specialist school, we had a pretty small class, and we managed to somehow end up roping the whole class in. I think it was about like 15 of us that ended up going to a Star Wars marathon at his place, purely based on the fact that I told him that I hadn't watched Star Wars. So that was my Star Wars experience. I watched every movie chronologically that was out in 2000 and I'd have to say 18. Like all the Star Wars movies out at that point. And we watched them in chronological order, which was hilarious because the preludes are newer than the originals. So we went from these epic lightsaber fights to, let me just slowly turn the stick in my hands over in my wrists, left and right, really awkwardly. That was a very fun Star Wars experience. I mean, he was also happy with the fact that when we finished the marathon and he asked whether I enjoy Star Wars, I told him that I now understand the memes, and he was like, good enough. What was my childhood? I was definitely a Pokemon kid. I can say that I learned English through Pokemon, but basically every Asian immigrant who showed up at a young age, at least in my generation, learned English from Pokemon, so that's not really saying much. What else was in my childhood? If it was the Western cartoons, I was definitely on SpongeBob. SpongeBob was definitely my preferred Western cartoon. Because Cartoon Network wasn't really a thing until I was in intermediate, or like finishing intermediate school. Or else, what's the intermediate school called in other places? Middle school? What else was in my childhood? Oh, there was a phase of Beyblade, and well, I'm still in the Yu-Gi-Oh hole, unfortunately. As much as I complain about that game every time I play it, I'm still deep in the Yu-Gi-Oh hole. That was a part of my childhood. And well, there was also Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z was the one that it was still considered cool, even though you watched it. Even though there wasn't really a big distinction between anime and cartoons back in the day, for all of the cool kids. So Dragon Ball Z was for the cool kids because it was all about fighting. Lord of the Rings. How old was I when Lord of the Rings was going around? I think I was in high school when Lord of the Rings was going around. I mean, I have watched all Lord of the Rings, and I did enjoy the movies. Because I feel like they were, like, pretty good for all intents and purposes. Like, looking back at it now, maybe there were some questionable parts, but admittedly, I never read the Lord of the Rings books, so I can't really say too much on that. Not like the Harry Potter ones. I read all the books, and I thought the movies were terrible. At least comparing to the books. You know, I never watched the later Yu-Gi-Oh animes. I only watched the Duel Masters ones, and it was a terrible 4Kids anime. Or 4Kids localization, which is hilarious now when you go look for videos on what 4Kids did to it. Because everyone who's in the anime space know that 4Kids was terrible. I mean, I guess I did learn English from them. Back in the day when Brock made ice cream sandwiches every week for Ash and Misty. The ice cream sandwiches that looked mysteriously like rice balls. That was a good time. Cardfight Vanguard never really got to New Zealand. At least I wasn't aware of it. Only Yu-Gi-Oh really got this far down the world, because, you know, we're at the corner of the world and no one cares about us. I mean, I didn't really know about Cardfight Vanguard until, like, actually not very recently now, because it's been quite a while. Probably about 7 to 8 years ago was when I actually really took a look at Cardfight Vanguard properly. I mean, there were kids at my primary school that was into Magic the Gathering. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering were the two card games that were being played in my era of school days, like the playground card game. You know, 4Kids' best legacy now is all of the what did 4Kids change or what did 4Kids do wrong videos that are on YouTube, and they're absolutely hilarious, just like looking at them. Also, along with the fact that for some reason, apparently with anime, kids are allergic to violence, but when you look at some of the Western cartoons, the kids are definitely not allergic to violence. And you should really start trying to dox yourself, dude. When you tell people where you live on the internet, you give them a country, and that's really as far as you should go. Yeah, well, you know, if you tell me it's a primary school, that actually gives me more information to dox you now. You see, that is the slight issue there. And I can guarantee you, malicious people on the internet do not care how old you are to try and take advantage of someone. The same way that supply and demand goes for products, there's a supply and demand for vulnerable people on the internet as well. So, you know, just be careful, yeah? Be careful on the internet. It is not totally because I'm obligated to say that because I'm on the internet, so, well, you're not doing any harm, but someone may find a way to harm you. That is the message that we're trying to promote here, and I am required to say that as the person in charge of the stream here. Whether you take my advice or not is a different matter. That is your opinion, and your opinion alone. I mean, it's the same way that when you go into a random stream and talk about Bitcoin, the first thing the person has to tell you, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I think. It's the same thing. Because I'm here as the person in charge of stream, I have to tell you to be safe on the internet, even if I don't truly believe it. It is my obligation to do so. Otherwise, you should make it angry at me. I think, was it, if I actually don't tell you to be safe on the internet, someone can actually report me and get me in trouble with YouTube. Like, that's pretty much the extent of, policies these days. It's very dodgy. Because we must protect the kids, as, the politicians like to say it these days. I don't know, when you talk about your school days, you talk about, wow, my school was like this, but you don't just tell them the name of the school, right? Because at least people pinpoint your location. And once again, that is just my obligation of what I have to say. If I sound like a broken record, I am obligated to say that, because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. I like it here. I don't want to go back to Twitch. Twitch is terrible. Okay, let's just turn off the mirror editing there. Wasn't that just because anime was portrayed in a more real manner than how Western cartoons typically just bounced and turned people into rubber whenever they got hit? I mean, unless you had like some of the comedic anime, no one really had the good old fist to face and have your face sink in that everyone loved for the old Western cartoons. I mean, that's actually a fun topic, because I did a paper, like I wrote a paper on that in my last degree, where I took a look at censorship in video games. And you'll see that, generally speaking, if you look at just ratings and what is considered allowed at different ratings in the US, who was it? US is what, ESRB? Is that the rating system? Well, whatever rating system it was that Americans use, and the rating systems that Europe uses, along with the rating system used in Asia, primarily with Japan, because that's the main things I'm looking at, you'll find that anyone that follows the American rating for video games will be much happier to lower the age rating for violence when compared to sexual content, because you can usually find like some pretty aggressive games from the American rating at like PG-13 when there's a lot of gun violence or a lot of like, usually not gore, but if it's like comedic gun violence, it'll usually be rated pretty low. I mean, I don't know about it nowadays, because the paper was admittedly about 5 years ago when I did the research, and the research papers that I was taking from were probably about 2 to 3 years old at the time. So take from this what you will. But if you compare that to Europe and Asia, they will be much happier to lower the rating for sexual content, and they'll raise the rating if the game was even like mildly violent, which I thought was a very interesting thing to look at. more like a cultural thing. I mean, it was basically like the easiest way to say it was it's better to be socking people in the face and absolutely downing them into like a pile of rags than it is to have a panty flash come up on screen. A panty flash is more problematic than having our kids exposed to violence that they can replicate. Because the case study that I actually used, because very conveniently I was playing the game at a time, that was called, I believe, Mugen Souls. It's a JRPG from Idea Factory, where one of the basically the bathing minigame was completely removed from the Steam International version. But it was kept in the, I think both the European and the Japanese release of it. Oh yeah, I'm fine working straight up until till the hour mark. That's usually when I actually start finishing up. That's why I tell you, the one thing I'm good at is talking and working at the same time. Because as long as I have enough time to glance over at chat, I can keep talking. And it's my one redeeming feature as a streamer, because I don't honestly consider myself to be a very prolific streamer in terms of what people expect from a streamer. Not that Mugen. This one is very much a very fan service parody kind of game. But the Idea Factory does a lot of that stuff, because they also did the Neptunia series, which has a lot of fun parody stuff that's used as jokes constantly. Let me just finish ahead, and then we'll look at finishing up here, just so that I'm cutting off at a set point. I mean, I think the biggest title right now is Neptunia, out of all of their games, as far as I know. I mean, I haven't really played one of the games in quite a while because they are like kind of pricey, and I will admit, after you play the couple of the games, a lot of the games are pretty much the same. Yeah, Hyperdimension Neptunia. I do enjoy the games, but the systems can get a little tiring because of how oddly grindy some parts of the games are, while some parts of the game don't require you to grind at all. I find this a problem with them. The pacing is a little off. But I definitely like the way the characters are built and the stories are built, because I don't like particularly serious stories. Also, I don't like particularly dark games, that is environment-wise, not story-wise. Like, I presume, like, some of you have heard me say this, but I don't like playing games with very dark environments, which include a lot of horror games, because of my eyesight. I can't actually see very well into dark colors, unfortunately. So, if you go back to my good old October session of video uploads from last year, you'll find that all of the horror games I went through during October were very bright. All had a very minimal amount of dark environments. Oh, the one fun thing about horror is that it's like the one thing that you can still upload Let's Plays for on YouTube and still get views without having a pre-established audience. That's the one thing I can say about horror games on YouTube. And it's really weird because I don't really have a scare reaction. I mean, I can enjoy them because I think games are interesting. I mean, it makes sense I think games are interesting because I was in a degree that was literally for making games, not like I'm using it now. But I like looking at game design things and game concepts and how they get fleshed out and how they're executed. So I play pretty much anything pretty happily. Horror movies... I don't watch movies in general because I don't like sitting there for 2 hours for something to be presented to me. That's also why I personally don't watch any streams. So... Or if I do watch a stream, it's like some kind of event stream where it's very orchestrated and I don't have to like sit through any downtime. Or if there is downtime, it's very clearly marked and I can go do something else during their downtime. This mesh gonna be okay? This mesh should be okay. Oh yeah. Oh, you're just looking at how long the stream is. I do start about 5 minutes early and it's just a loading screen, so my official start time is at 9 PM NZT or whatever plus GMT UTC that is, because I did put that into the stream thing. But yeah, we're gonna finish up here. Got all of the mesh for the front portion of the head done. It really shows how long this stuff takes, because I am definitely not even halfway done with the mesh here. But I'll look at getting this mostly done over the weekend. And well, we'll see how far I get through the prep stuff, because I still have other stuff to do as well over the weekend. But tomorrow shall be a continuation of Fire Emblem Randomizer. Probably still not going to be resetting if anyone dies, but we'll be resetting if we fail to recruit anyone, because I want to see how much of the disappointment a lot of people are. Because that's the fun of a randomizer. Also, I need to just make sure I can keep track of which slot every character's in, because that does affect recruitments somewhat. See how that goes, but at least the good old Fire Emblem is being pretty friendly with me for now with the randomizer. It's not too bad, mainly because I've got my strong people back. So that's going... That should be going pretty smoothly, and it should be going smoothly at least into the foreseeable future. But anyways, for the Live2D model here, we'll continue this next week. Hopefully I have most of the prep done. Note for the prep, the rest of the meshes down here, all the way down to the bottom here, there's still probably about 40-ish meshes that I need to do. And then I need to set up all the parameters here, and then I have to set up the whole deformer hierarchy that, actually I still have my other instance up. The deformer hierarchy, for the people who aren't familiar with it, ends up looking something like this. This is a deformer hierarchy. I have to make all of those deformers individually, so that will be a very long time. So it's very likely that will be another setup stream, which if you like me talking, is very good, because I can talk a lot when I'm doing these setup streams, because I don't have to think very hard while doing them. Alright, so anyways, thank you very much for watching today's stream. For those watching who aren't subscribed and they like what they saw today, remember to subscribe, leave a like, cause that helps me out, and I shall see you all next time.